The economic crisis precipitated by the collapse of Lehman Brothers, collapse as in nothing was done to save that company. The very course of action so many Republicans are advocating now about the economy as a whole. But in the chaos of the 36 hours that followed the collapse of Lehman, it appears that much was done to prevent a complete collapse of the entire U.S. financial system, if not the global financial system, or at least that's how it was recalled 2 weeks ago on C-SPAN by Democratic Congressman Paul Kanjorski, citing the date as Thursday, September 15th. It was actually Thursday, September 18th.
Look, I was there when the Secretary and the Chairman of the Federal Reserve came those days and talked with members of Congress about what was going on. It was about September 15th. Here's the facts, and we don't even talk about these things. On Thursday at about 11 o'clock in the morning, the Federal Reserve noticed a tremendous drawdown of money market accounts in the United States to the tune of $550 billion was being drawn out in a matter of an hour or two. The Treasury opened up its window to help. They pumped $105 billion in the system and quickly realized that they could not stem the tide. We were having an electronic run on the banks. They decided to close the operation, close down the money accounts, and announce a guarantee of $250,000 per account so there wouldn't be further panic out there. And that's what actually happened. If they had not done that, their estimation was that by 2 o'clock that afternoon, $5.5 trillion would have been drawn out of the money market system of the United States, would have collapsed the entire economy of the United States, and within 24 hours the world economy would have collapsed. Now, we talked at that time about what would happen if that happened. It would have been the end of our economic system and our political system as we know it. And that's why, when they made the point, we've got to act and do things quickly, we did.
Let's turn now to financial and economic writer Daniel Gross, senior editor at Newsweek and author of the soon-to-be-published book, Dumb Money, How Our Greatest Financial Minds Bankrupted the Nation. Dan, thanks for your time tonight.
Good to be here, Keith.
This is a little bit like listening to somebody say, you remember last September when the Earth almost collided with Mars? Is the congressman's apocalyptic memory of those days accurate?
Well, I don't know if his numbers are 100% correct, but there was this huge seizure in the money market funds market, which is basically where people park cash. There's about $3.5 trillion. It's the safest place for money this side of your mattress. After Lehman Brothers went down and started defaulting on its debt, remember they let it fail on Monday, I believe it was September 15th. All these money market funds, they were supposed to have government bonds and things like that, but they also had a lot of Lehman Brothers debt. Now, Lehman Brothers was a AAA rated company, the safest type of company, so it made sense that it was there. But once Lehman Brothers failed, all of a sudden everybody freaked out about the possibility of the money they thought they had in cash in these money market funds not really being there, started to yank it out. That system seized up, and the Fed, the government did come in and start to guarantee those money market funds, halting the run.
Is the global meltdown risk that the congressman spoke of ameliorated? Should I not bother to wait for your answer and just run out to an ATM?
Well, I think your cash is safe. I mean, you may have more than the insured limit. The FDIC bumped up its limit to $250,000 per account. The money market funds are insured. You know, when you have insurance of assets, you tend not to have bank runs, right? A bank can fail today and everybody else doesn't freak out because they know their deposits are insured. That's the way people now think about money market accounts. So those are relatively safe. You know, the challenge has been is that we continue to have these problems crop up in parts of the market that many of us, perhaps didn't know existed. Commercial paper, other types of markets. So there's definitely this risk today. And the volatility you see in the markets, down 4 or 5% today, is a reflection of this continuing concern over credit issues.
And maybe making it a little bit worse because people are suspicious about things, because we live in this time when terms like essential, urgent, imminent, and cataclysm have been based on bad intel or have been fudged to use to manipulate the public into acquiescing to draconian measures or war or both of these things. Is there a chance that's the case here in terms of this apocalyptic vision of what almost happened, what might yet happen?
Well, look, I think there's a degree to which we're skeptical. For Wall Street, a crisis is, they can't buy a third or fourth home, or they have to ground the corporate jet. So we've kind of become inured to them saying, oh, this is a big deal, we have to act now, because it started with Bear Stearns in March of 2008 and has continued since then unabated. We're continually told there are these systemic problems, we have to act now, or else something really bad will happen. And really bad things actually do continue to happen. And we're seeing the second piece in your prior section, the second piece of the bailout. Bad things continue to happen in this world.
There's sort of a back engineering on this, and I suppose there's a logical fallacy in here. Would all of this been avoided if we had saved and propped up Lehman?
Well, you have to remember, at the time, everybody was applauding Henry Paulson for letting Lehman Brothers fail, because it was, finally, we're drawing a line in the sand. These Wall Street people have to account for themselves. We're not going to bail them out of their stupid decisions. And that euphoria lasted for about 48 to 72 hours when all this other stuff happened. Mm-hmm. It may not have been Lehman Brothers causing money market funds to fail, but it's possible that 2 weeks later, it could have been somebody else.
Dan Gross of Newsweek, great thanks for making this decipherable to most of us.
Anytime.